Welcome to the Windsor Wednesday show and happy Windsor Wednesday. Unfortunately, Mayor Drew Dilkens was unable to join today's call, but we will have him on in future shows in the weeks to come, so stay tuned for that. I do have Ben Horvath and Patti Lauzon on the show today. Great U Windsor ambassadors, and one is an alumnus and a staff member, and then one is also a student. So to give you a brief introduction, Ben, he's a third-year science student, and he's also minoring in business. And Patti Lauzon is also a graduate from the arts department, and also she's the director of Alumni Relations. She handles all the alumni responsibilities at the University of Windsor. So I'm glad to have both of you on the show today.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, Lyndon.
So the Windsor Wednesday show, if it's your first time watching, is basically we invite students, faculty, staff members, and even alumni to join the show and really share their U Windsor story and provide advice to incoming students that are just about to enter the University of Windsor. So our first question today talks a little bit about what has been your most memorable moment while at the University of Windsor and why. And I imagine you're going to be making memorable moments for years to come at the University of Windsor, but I'd love to know what would be your most memorable moment right now? And we'll have Ben go first.
Yeah, thank you. So actually, especially going into my first year, I was kind of unsteady with where I was going to be, who I was going to meet. And just right out of the gate during Welcome Week, I was approached by Jake Frank, and he was the president of the Science Society. So he recruited me, asked me to run for a position there, and I've been on the Science Society ever since. Currently, I'm the biology rep, and overall, the Science Society is a great program to be a part of because we represent the whole science faculty, and just the community around there is just inspiring because everybody has the motivation to create life on campus to be better than it was ever before. So.
Yes, thank you, Ben. And I'm curious to know, for students that are entering the science department, talk a little bit about the Science Society that you mentioned. What is the Science Society, and what can students expect joining this club?
Mm-hmm. So the Science Society is the holistic club that science represents. So we have various events going on when we were in person, most notably our Welcome Week events. So each day we would have a specific event. Our best event was our barbecues on the Fridays, and then everybody gets a free t-shirt. Stay tuned for everybody in science there who is going to get a shirt later this fall. But yeah, we have various events throughout the year, some wellness Wednesdays because mental health is very important. Also, we have Mole Day and Pie Day. Our Mole Day is free guacamole and chips for all of our Avogadro fans. So it's overall just a fun time.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Patti, I'm interested to know, while working at the university and even now graduating, what have been some memorable moments you've made?
There are so many, Lyndon. But I think probably as a student, one of the most, or if not the most memorable moment that I had, and I say this with complete appreciation and understanding for what our graduating students of May 2020 missed out on in terms of the in-person convocation. But for me, looking back, right before they called my name at convocation for me to walk across the stage, I can actually still put myself in that moment and remember that feeling. And it was an amazing feeling. And I remember walking across that stage, and at the time, I believe the chancellor shook our hand, and just the pride that I felt, knowing that I was coming into and will always be a member of the University of Windsor family. That to me is definitely the most memorable. Lots of memorable moments in the classroom as well. I took so many wonderful classes and profs who I continue now to see on campus who really inspired me. And of course, just being at the university and being part of the university community, I realize now that for students that are doing intercession in summer and going into fall 2020, that it will look differently. But from my experience in the past 4 months, we are, it's going to sound corny, but we are an even stronger community virtually. And even, your show, kudos to you for doing this show, because I think it has been one way to really, boast about the great things happening at the University of Windsor. So that's my memorable moment.
Awesome. And you know what, Ben and I, we're going in our third year. I think we're definitely excited to have that moment in our fourth year, walking across the stage. Eventually, when things get back to normal and we're able to have big graduations, it's definitely something that we're waiting for. And I do have to say, for those students that are doing virtual graduations right now, it does take a lot of strength. And I think that it's times like these that we will get through it, and it can be such a different transition for the students at the University of Windsor. So I appreciate you sharing. And to jump into our next question here, it talks a little bit about who specifically at the University of Windsor has or continues to have a positive impact on your learning or work experience. And so, Patti, we'll have you jump on in this question here.
For me, and again, because we haven't been for the past 4 months actually physically together, the most learning that I do is every day working with our team in alumni and advancement. I learn from our team things that, creative new ways to look at solutions to problems, looking at ways that we can better engage alumni in meaningful experiences with the university. And really the leadership that we have, so my interaction with Dr. Gordon, Douglas Neal, we have so many wonderful leaders at the university that being able to work with them and know that the impact that we're making together on the lives of students and the lives of our Windsor-Essex County community, I can't even put that in words. It's very meaningful, and just every single day through your affiliation with the University of Windsor, you learn. I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier about Dr. Georgie. Working with him, I've learned so much, and I feel that there are so many people like Vincent who are on campus and more than willing to share their expertise and their experience with their colleagues and students that you can't help but learn and grow in that environment.
Awesome, thank you. Ben, I'm curious to know, since you're going on 3 years now, who continues to make a positive impact on your learning experience?
Yeah, so I have a handful, Dr. Georgie being one of them. But just firstly, I just want to mention this to any kind of students, no matter if you're first year to fifth year. I mean, just reaching out and even asking a simple question like, Dr. whoever, I don't understand this one question. That can start a snowball effect and can open up more opportunities for you. I mean, personally, going into my first year, I didn't talk to any professors. I mean, I'm personally an extroverted person, but when it came to talking to professionals, I had this sense of self-doubt. But honestly, like they're as human as you and I can be. But again, that snowball effect. One of the first people I talked to in my second year was Dr. Noel. So in science, I was very interested in microbiology and virology. So that was my first introduction class to those subjects. And Dr. Noel was very approachable, very understanding for my kind of circumstances. But once I offered my situation and just getting more knowledge, it definitely helps in the classroom, but also allows you to establish more confidence to talk in certain things like the show, for instance. I wouldn't have thought that I would be here if it wasn't for all the connections that I've made. So going from Dr. Noel, I had a bit of public speaking experience, just being on the Science Society, and also going on to Dr. Georgie. So I'm in his Principles of Marketing class this summer for intersession, and just seeing how many great things he does on campus and off campus is truly inspiring, just to see how much somebody can do with the U Windsor community. And I mean, for yourself, Lyndon, you got 2 talk shows on, you're having an independent research, so it's pretty impressive. And also Dr. Cavallo is one notable person in science who has the USci network and is also the liaison between the regional hospital here in Windsor and also the research group here on campus.
Awesome. Ben, I'm so glad that you mentioned how you were a bit nervous and when reaching out to professionals, and it's something that you got over in your first and second year, and it's definitely helped you build so many new connections. And you do make a great point, is you can build relationships with your professors. It just takes that step of emailing them or trying to stay and talk to them after class, because many professors will help you and they will help you grow throughout your leadership journey. So I really appreciate you bringing up that point. And to kind of tie us into our next question, with Canada's 153rd birthday coming up and Canada Day being next week, I thought it would be a great time to ask a question relating to how is studying at a Canadian post-secondary institution like the University of Windsor set you up for success? And we'll have you go first, Ben.
Yeah, so especially for Canada, like Canadian universities are almost as equivalent to the US universities in my aspect. So just being a Canadian university, you have all of these opportunities that you have. Again, it's just applying your experiences and what you learn in the class. So just in the U Windsor community, some people don't even know about it, but some people go to medical school. We have tons of people in science going to medical school, professional school. I just had a recent colleague of mine being accepted into Indiana University for dental surgery. So Windsor is definitely a school to compete with, because sometimes we can be viewed as being overshadowed by Western or Toronto, but we do have these people who do make impacts, and it is truly inspiring just to see how small of a town can make such a huge impact in just Canada itself. Well
said, Ben. I'm going to pass this one over to you, Patty. Studying at a Canadian post-secondary institution like the University of Windsor, how has it set you up for success?
I think that I echo everything that Ben said. And I also think that because we're such a comprehensive university, you really do have the opportunity to explore a number of different areas and a number of different disciplines. I remember when I finished my degree, I thought, I have a BA. I know that I have a particular interest in the arts and social justice, but I am equipped to do a lot of things because I had a wide breadth of experience while I was at the university. So I think the wide nature of what we offer, being comprehensive, is something that is, and our professors are second to none. I mean, they are just fabulous. And we hear about the great things that they're doing all the time, especially in the alumni office. And when Ben said about, we have graduates doing great things everywhere, that's just not a line. We really, really do. From our office in Alumni Affairs, we hear that every single day, multiple times a day. We have an annual awards program. And I'll tell you, when we look at those nomination forms, it's overwhelming. It's just, it's such a good feeling that you graduate from a university, you study at the University of Windsor, and you have that in common with so many people who, as I'm sure the two of you will be, are doing great things with their degree, and with their personal passion projects as well. So many, especially in our community, are volunteering to make our community better and to make life better for those who are vulnerable. So number one thing to me about studying at our university at Canadian Post-Secondary was the comprehensive nature, and that we are a border town because we have lots of great opportunities that way as well.
Yes, there's so many cross-border programs that we do offer. And you brought up a great point, is you are in the alumni department, and I imagine you see countless number of alumni that are across the world. How many do you think there are currently that you see?
I know how many. I can actually answer you that almost to the exact number, but 145,000.
Wow.
And we know that there are alumni in 21 countries around the world. So,
wow.
And I could rattle off stats that will not be impressive to you or to your viewers. So yes, we are every year, obviously with spring and fall convocation, we are growing and continue to welcome new grads into the fold, and lots of our more veteran graduates are still obviously very welcome to get involved, and we have lots of ways to do that. You can find that on our website.
Awesome. Thank you, Patti. And Ben, I know you had something to kind of add on this topic. Please feel free to share.
Yeah, especially with the U Windsor community, just in particular for science, we boast about this a lot, but I'm grateful that we have this. So with this Faculty of Science, we have a 1 to 16 student ratio. So what this means is we have more interactions with our professors, and this allows us to have more chances to get more personal with our professors, because with bigger schools like Western and Toronto, some people are just noted as a number, as their student number. And just knowing Chris Hauser, he knows practically almost everybody in the halls by name. And that certain kind of relationship can't be established at institutions with that kind of size at Western. But also, as I said, just putting yourself out there, no matter where you are. So I've had two experiences where out of campus I've seen some science alumni where I was working at Roots, just doing my shift, and somebody walked in with a biology sweater on. So then we struck a conversation, and it turns out she was a graduate from U Windsor, and now she's the president of the Canadian division of a carbon negative materials company up in Sudbury. So what that basically is they're focusing on more efficient ways and more environmentally friendly ways to make plastic bottles, which is a large contribution to the pollution in the world. So just putting yourself out there, no matter where you are, you can even be just waiting for the bus even, and just having an open ear and being open for a conversation.
Yes, definitely. I think that's a great way to tie up today's conversation, and it's a really interesting story that you brought up. I don't think without the knowledge she learned at the University of Windsor, she would not be in that role she is today. And I think that's super impressive that many alumni are just, after they graduate, they're doing great things in the community. 145,000 alumni across the world. Thanks for sharing that, Patti, as well. But to conclude on today's show, each week we do a giveaway, and this week was Amazon gift card. And we're gonna have a virtual drum roll in just a second, and we'll have the winner come up on the screen. Here we go, and all right, congratulations to Rita Richa for winning the $50 Amazon gift card. Please send us a direct message to claim your prize, and thank you to those who did watch today's show. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll see you next time on the Windsor Wednesday show.
Thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Bye now.